I decided to get a little more current data. See if anything's changed over the 3 years between then and ish now. I couldn't get the most recent data. It's not posted yet from the entire year 2013. It's not posted yet. Random sample of Ben homes now, and I got the links down there for you. 163 homes out of 1,734 for sale homes. Now you gotta remember the definition of bend is very wide for real estate. People that can live 13, 14, 15 miles out towards sisters or towards brothers are still considered bend for real estate purposes, for whatever reason, okay? So there's a lot more houses out there than you might realize. And there were 1,734 of them for sale. 163 are in foreclosure. Now please notice, I essentially doubled my sample size, yes? 702 to 1,730. I did that intentionally. You'll see why momentarily why I did that point. Pedagogy. What would you now say at 95% confidence was the for sale foreclosure rate? I guess it's the rate. For sale rate? There's something like, Madeline!
I'm 95% confident that the number of foreclosures in Bend in April 2013 was at least 8% and as much as 10.8.
You're hired.
Thank you.
Hired. Whoa. Shoes. Yes! That was said perfectly. And I'm not saying you have to parrot what Madeline or I am saying. Well, JC, what you said, it's at least this or at most this. I love that.
You can add the on average.
Of course you can. Please do. That doesn't change. This is all averaging, yeah? This is all the idea of averaging a data set. It's just that it's a percentage now, so the average looks a little different, but it's still average, yes. I love that. Of course you can say between. Absolutely. This is the beauty of it. There's many ways to say it, as long as the only thing I'm going to be a stickler about is the fact that you include that margin of error. That's the kicker. Because you know it's not 9.4%. Eh? It's not 9.4%. It's not 9.4%. It can't be. Because the only way to get that is to count every house. It's got to have the margin on there. Renee, go!
Well, if it's somewhere in there, how do you know the margin of error?
The margin of error is deduced from p hat. Right? P hat. Remember, we put a lot. I mentioned this, or maybe you guys told me this. It might have been this class that told me this. There's a whole branch of anthropology that has been created due to one skull that was excavated. Some ancient culture, due to one skull, they pulled one skull, analyzed that skull, and built theories around this entire race of people based on this one skull. That is putting a lot of faith in the fact that one skull wasn't an outlier. What if that one skull was like me? Like the ancient version of me? Like, holy crap. It'd be the most ridiculous class ever. But the problem with that is you have to accept a wide margin based on a sample size of 1, essentially. So this is why we talk about 95% confidence. You are 95% confident you have not pulled an outlier. So you can base a margin of error off a non-outlier 95% of the time without worrying too much about it. Actually, 100% of the time you can build the margin of error. It's just that 95% of the time your p hat value was close enough to p, assuming it was done properly, that you've caught it. Is that fair? Great question, by the way, Renee. Lauren, go!
My school, by the way, took that back.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, it's not a theory, it's a guess, or, you know.
Oh, sure. Well, a theory could be called a guess. I mean, it's not a law.
Right.
It's theoretical. I hope we didn't do it because I'm talking about it in class. I love the fact that it's
cool. I just asked him, I was like, empirically, how does that sound bad? And he's like, oh, well.
It was you, Lauren. You told me about that. That's right. You told me about that. Thank you. Yeah, I think it's great.
Hypothesis, tentatively accepted hypothesis, people test it, and it becomes a theory.
It becomes more and more believable the more it's replicated.
Yes.
Again, hypothesis starts as a hypothesis, a guess, an educated guess. I think if I drink coffee before I go on a road bike ride, my heart rate's going to get lowered. Theory. You and your buddies are talking about drinking shots of espresso as you go through your road bike rides. And then more people do it. They're like, you know what? I wonder if we can actually test this. So you set up a test to do it. We're going to do this in this class, just FYI. And then it becomes a theory, if you will, or a belief system. It's still not a law, because you haven't proven it 100% of the time, but when you fail to disprove it, it becomes more and more believable. And that's exactly what we're talking about. And I didn't want to harp on Mike. I love Mike. I just think it was great they built the whole thing off of one skull. I love Mike. Play rugby with him all the time. Anyway, back to here. If I was to ask you what is the rate of for sale foreclosures in April of 2013, we'd have to say it's between, as Madeline said, about 8% and about 10.8%. Let's slap that bad boy on the number line as well. We'll use a different color, we'll use orange. Right. 8% to about 10.8%. It's over here somewhere. Here's April 2013. Friends, talk to me, talk to me. How is it similar to January 2010?
It's within.
Say that again.
It's within.
Good, I like it. It's completely within. I like that very much, thank you, Lauren. Madeline, how else is it the same? Similar.
PHAT's roughly the same.
Did you catch that? This percentage is roughly the same for both of them, yes? The percentage is roughly the same for both of them. So, the percentage of homes did not essentially change from a view of p-hat. What changed, though?
The range.
The margin of error changed because we drew a larger sample. So you guys that were concerned when you said, I don't like that, when Lauren said, I'm worried about that precision, the precision's too wide. This is the fix for it. This is the fix for it. You draw a larger sample if possible. Now some people are going to say, wait a minute, time out, damn it. Eventually, aren't you going to count every single house in Bend if you do it that way? Yes. And then what happens to your margin of error? Trick question.
It's 0.
You don't have one, it's 0. Because you got the parameter now. But assuming that these two studies were done right, you don't have to draw every single house in Bend, do you? Because it's looking, unless both of these were heinously off, that the center is right around 9.3%. And we're just getting going like this. If you think that was my Chewbacca, I apologize. Did you catch how your center of your penny spins, 45.8%, whatever it was pretty darn close to the 44% that happened overall of 6,000, 8,000 trials? It's just your margin was so wide that 50 was still in it. But as soon as you start increasing your sample size, assuming your sample wasn't an outlier, it's essentially just going to shrink down and get more and more precise and more exact to the center. Fair enough?
Yeah.
Here's what I want you guys to do. We're going to have 2 more minutes. We're not going to have time to finish this in class. Bring this home with you. Bring this one home with you. Okay? Bring this home with you. Do number 3. And try to answer it in 2 ways. Try to come up with 2 answers. One of which, of course, would be answer it just like we just did the first 2. And that's what I'm looking for the 2 points. But try to also think if there's another way you could answer it. Okay? Just outside the box a little bit. Think about it. Is there a different way you can answer it? If not, that's fine. We can discuss it on Wednesday. Exactly. Or how to approach it differently. Do we need a margin of error necessarily? Tell me your name again.
Debbie.
Debbie, go.
Question in number 3 is data given the overall state of Oregon, or will we just back to your question?
Yeah.
I'm going to answer that 2 ways. Number 1, look at it as if it were, or look at it if it weren't. And B, track the source down and see if you can find. That's why I kind of want 2 answers, because you can look at it 2 ways, can't you?
Right.
That's why I did that one. So answer it 2 ways. Answer it like this, and add your interval to the number line. And or track the source down and be like, oh, I see what you're talking about. Okay? Does that make sense? Cool. Bring that back. What I'll do is I'll push. There are 3 quizzes due for Wednesday, right? I'm going to push one of them back to Monday. I'm going to push the one that's on this stuff back to Monday. Wednesday. Next week. Wednesday, thank you. Because I don't want to just rush to get stuff done. We'll finish this up on whatever. When I see you guys again, we'll finish it up. Good Lord. Give me some more coffee.